3D circumstances can often seem impossible, especially when you're dealing with specific people, right? Matters of the heart that just keep you tethered to this 3D reality. And what if you were in a situation that spanned years? How about 6 years to be precise? 6 years of on again, off again, heartbreak, not getting anywhere, inconsistent results. How about we throw a third party into the mix? And how about we also throw in some blocking, you know, bit of blocking, bit of rejecting, bit of your SP saying, I never want to see you again. Sounds like it's the end of the story, but this is what happened to, so it's a girl on our Discord actually who shared her sister's story. So this is her sister's SP manifestation success story, and she shared it on the Success Stories channel that we've got on our Discord chat, and I was like, let's hear more about it, and if your sister is happy to share. So she's got her sister's permission, and she very graciously shared the story in more detail so that all of you can enjoy it. The story is up on my website, as are all of your success stories, whether you're a viewer, a subscriber, whether it's a success story you got before you knew about the law or after, whether it's something you obtained whilst coaching with me or simply through watching my videos. It doesn't matter. We want to hear from you because these success stories keep us motivated. I don't know about you, but I like them, especially on a cold wintry day where you've got your hot drink and you just want to cozy up to something. So if you guys got your hot drinks at the ready, grab yourself a hot drink if you haven't done so. I've got my Mickey Mouse cup. You see this from Disney Paris. Big kid. For those of you who are like, I don't look like I'm like 43. Well, that's because I'm a big child within. Remember, the universe is mental, the very first Hermetic principle. Everything is mental, everything is mind. And this is why it all starts with self. And like we do with all of your success stories, I will dissect it. So stay tuned throughout, because it's not just about saturating yourself with all these success stories. I know they're motivational, but what you end up doing is you end up making comparisons and wondering why your journey isn't going the same way, or why certain techniques aren't working for you in the same way. We're going to dissect it at the end. We're going to break it down, what she did, why it worked. And yeah, so I will read the story, sit back and relax. I've got just a coffee today. Needed a bit of a, although I have decaf, so I say I need a bit of a boost, but it's decaffeinated, so I don't know what kind of boost I'm getting. See, it's mental. It's a mental boost. So let's have something warm our throats. And so I called this one Blocked, Rejected and Ignored, how my sister got her SP back. And so the story goes, my sister and her boyfriend were on and off for 6 years at the time. There was a short-term third-party situation when they had broken up, and during one of those times, so my sister tried to let him go and tried to move on. She didn't know about the law of assumption back then, but every time they reunited during these 6 years, the recurring theme was that he wanted to be independent, was inconsistent in his behavior, and she felt clingy and anxious. Eventually, he blocked her again for 3 months after another argument, and he told her he didn't want to hear from her again. She decided to move on, and she tried dating other guys, but still found herself drawn back to her specific person. He ended up unblocking her and reaching out, but said that he only wanted friendship. This upset her, but it also gave her the push to start working on herself. A couple of months later, she found the law of assumption. She dabbled in it, and she tried working on her self-concept with affirmations at this point, but her SP had still become distant. A few months later, she reconnected briefly with him, but after a few messages, he grew distant again. Instead of chasing him, she decided to double down on her self-concept around not feeling chosen, rejected, and spending 80% of her energy on herself and 20% on him. The techniques that she used were affirmations, scripting, inner conversations as if he was there with her, the whisper method, and also visualizing the imaginal scenes, which wasn't her favorite technique. She preferred affirmations and inner conversations. So 3 months passed, and his behavior was hot and cold. This pushed her to get even more serious. She kept working on her self-concept, imagining herself being chosen and loved. She used revision as well to help change any unfavorable interactions that they had had. She even affirmed that his sister would talk about her to him. About a month later, she was exploring an interest in cryptocurrency. She had been having inner conversations with him in her mind about crypto and other day-to-day things. Then one day, while she was creating a version of their life together on the game The Sims, she was creating a version of their life together on Sims. I didn't know you could, I mean, I don't know much about Sims, but I didn't know you could do that. Her SP messaged her randomly about crypto after his sister mentioned her in a conversation. They started talking regularly and grew closer. He even repeated back some of the very specific affirmations to her that she had imagined. She later found out that he had actually been thinking about her and dreamt of her during this time. And right before he messaged her, he even asked his family how they felt about him getting back with her. It's been 3 years since then, and they're happily living together with their fur babies in their dream country town. She said that the way that she dealt with the 3D doubts and spiraling were basically putting on videos of her favorite law of assumption teacher to remind her to keep on going. The other thing that kept her going was the strong desire to want to change. She said she couldn't imagine reliving the same old patterns in relationships. She said she didn't look at social media, and she journaled the new story as if it were already happening. And she stopped telling herself the old story and arguing with him in her head. As someone who lived with her and saw her transformation firsthand, it can be pretty incredible to see how self-concept work can truly change your life. She went from having really bad social anxiety, always treated badly in relationships, was always quiet and a mouse in the background, and never thought she was pretty enough, which is crazy to me because she is actually gorgeous. Now she is happy, confident, and has a job that she loves, and she makes great money from it. We had a very tumultuous and chaotic upbringing, so I know if she can change, we all can. Thanks so much. So thank you so much, darling, for checking in with your sister, and thanks to your sister as well for sharing her personal journey. And all of you, like I say, are sitting on success stories. You manifested your specific person in the first place, whether they came in to be a lesson about self and to teach you about areas that you need to work on, that you need to change, concepts of self that you just need to switch from in order to experience a new reality, or whether they're the person that you choose to be with. Many's the time that I work with people that once they have healed and established a new concept of self, they realize that they don't want their SP anymore. So that's why I even share success stories of clients of mine who have come in originally with an SP and realized that their journey went so much deeper, went so much further, led them to their perfect relationship, or led them to all the successes that they could ever imagine, other intentions. You see, everyone is playing an integral role. And those of you who have a specific person in mind and you're doubtful if this is possible because you've been blocked, you've got a third party, or you've had a tumultuous past that just keeps on smacking you in the face, things can always change. People change their minds. He came in adamantly, he never wants to speak with her again, or never wants to see her again. Those are very final words, isn't it? I never want to speak to you again. But people say things out of anger, out of pain, out of hurt. Doesn't mean that it's fixed. Even if you've been told something like, no, I never want to be with you, or I never want to see you again, or I'm never going to speak to you again. As final as that sounds in terms of wording, really, as human beings, we're made up of atoms and particles that are constantly in motion, law of vibration, constantly vibrating and moving. Everything in this world is moving. Nothing is stagnant. So you must stop seeing your 3D circumstances as so solid, you know. When it comes to methods and techniques, I've noticed you see in the beginning when she's just affirming, she's getting this inconsistency. And remember what we said, we're not affirming for the middle if you are using affirmations. I personally don't use affirmations to change my state. I'm too lazy. I don't want to do something that I have to repeat over and over again. But you can use it as a supplement. She was using it as a supplement. Her main diet, it would seem, is inner conversations and imaginal acts. Inner conversations are an imaginal act. And I'm going to talk about inner conversations actually in the next video, because it's, to me, in my experiences as well, it's one of the most powerful and one of the most natural. You know, the passive imagination technique that I was inspiring you all to use. Are you guys using it when you shower, when you wash the dishes, when you're cleaning up, when you're going for a walk, when you're going on that long drive, when your mind, your conscious mind, taps out of the way and your subconscious takes over? Is the perfect time for passive impressioning. And it doesn't take much to impress your unconscious mind. We've already discovered that. So I hope that you guys are choosing an imaginal act or an imaginal inner conversation or an imaginal feeling or a spiritual, oh gosh, what's the word? But you know what I mean, a vision or a feeling in your head that you can embody during those times and impress upon yourself. And I want to hear your updates. Actually, update me. For those of you who are taking part, you want to see success in your life, let me know how you're getting on, because even the smallest of changes that you notice is change, and things are moving all the time. Remember, it's instant as soon as you do that imaginal act. But inner conversations, especially where she stopped arguing with him in her head, and the thing that makes that the thing that makes that possible as well, because and this is going to surprise you guys, I actually let myself argue and vent. So many of you were afraid to have an argument in your mind with your SP, or to talk to your friends about it and to vent about them. I know I shouldn't, I know I need to, but you know what, a lot of you don't realize, if you are feeling upset, if you do feel like your specific person has wronged you, has hurt you in some way, I mean, it doesn't stop you from loving them. Obviously, a lot of you want to manifest that loving relationship with them. But of course, it doesn't dismiss or discount how we're currently feeling. We shouldn't be discounting and dismissing how we're currently feeling, I should say. We should always validate it. Okay, I feel this way and it's valid. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to suppress it, because resistance equals persistence. And I don't want this to persist. I would actually allow myself, like the SP that I manifested where I kept the wine in the cabinet for him, and Coco was the one who dragged me to the park, that then, oh, there he is. And we reconnected through that. I vented. I vented about him for, I think I gave myself like a week and a half or 2 weeks. I was annoyed. I thought he acted like an idiot, and I was annoyed. I'm a human being, so I vented to my friends. I knew what I was doing. I knew it wasn't right in terms of if I wanted to manifest like a reconnection. I might not have necessarily wanted a relationship with him, but I certainly wanted to reconnect with him. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to allow myself to vent it, get it off your chest, rage about it, you know, don't kind of script it out or anything like that. But I mean, when you're talking to your friends, that if you need to get it off your chest, do so, because then what tends to happen, and that's, you know, what I do with my clients as well, get it off your chest, and then we'll process it together. Let me give you an alternative perspective with enough evidence to back it up, that your mind then accepts that as a new truth. And I get that, you know, clients come feeling upset or angry, and then suddenly they've shifted their state. It's one of compassion and understanding, which is more in alignment with your end result. Because remember, if you're in a loving, committed relationship in your SP, albeit in imagination, then it stands to reason that none of the resentment lingers, right? There is no resentment when you're imagining your end scene, just like there's no third party. How many of you have got third party issues? Don't worry about it. I've had third party issues before as well. The focus does not go on the third party. Do not see them as some sort of enemy or some sort of competition. If you do, then that's telling you about yourself. Thank you, third party. Either way, they're serving a great purpose. Thank you. Because as long as I'm fixated on you, as long as I'm seeing you as some sort of threat, I'm obviously devaluing myself. I'm obviously seeing myself as less than. I'm making a comparison. This is showing me my own insecurities. Remember, I'm only seeing life and people through myself, through the lens of the many different assumptions and beliefs that I have. So if this doesn't serve me, it's telling me that the belief or assumption that I have about myself doesn't serve me. We shouldn't be disliking people. That's an extension of you, right? So, okay, thank you for showing me what I need to work on. As she said, her sister was focusing 80%, was it, on herself and 20% on the ESP. A lot of us are too fixated on the specific person, what they're doing, what they're not doing, how long it's been since the contact, what they last said to you, what they're doing with the third party, their social media. But did you notice she cut herself away from all of that because it just wasn't serving her? This pattern just kept on recurring. And you can see now as well that patterns can break. 6 years of a consistent up and down, on and off heartbreak cycle, and she's managed to break that. You can too. Cycles are not permanent. Like I say, nothing is permanent here. You can break it, but you see, it starts with self. If the very first hermetic principle, the 7 principles, is the universe is mental, then that means everything stems from self. Everything is mental, everything is mind, everything is within. As within, so then without. So I can't change them. I'm not looking to change them. I'm looking to change myself and reveal a new version of them, a new reality with them, a new experience with them. That's why there's no manipulation here and there's no focus on them. Your 3D is only merely to act as a guide, to feed back to you. I'm not meant to ignore 3D and close my eyes to it and pretend it didn't happen. I can justify how I feel. I can vent and rage about it, cry about it. Good. Get it out. Are you triggered? Good. Get it out your system. Vent it. And then what other way can we look at this? What's the alternative perception? If I can't think of anything, let me step into the state of having, and then let me perceive this again differently. Let me use whatever techniques to assist me, my affirmations, my scripting, my journaling, my imaginal acts, my inner conversations. She's used a whole array of things. And once she's focused on the end, I should imagine that especially the affirmations about her sister talking to the SP, I should imagine that those came quite naturally because it's quite a specific thing she affirmed there. And remember what I said, your affirmations that come naturally from the state are the ones that get reflected, the ones that you can take on and absorb and believe. But remember, affirmations are not for everybody, because for those of us, say, with obsessive tendencies, mental health, certain mental health conditions, particularly OCD, even PTSD, trauma, I do not recommend it. If you suffer anxiety, do not use affirmations, especially ones that are specific. If you need to use more generic ones, gentle, ease, we're not fighting the mind, and go with perhaps an imaginal act, a meditation, a hypnosis, something that allows you to step into the state when your critical mind that is so active when we have these mental health conditions, allow that critical mind to just close down a bit. Because many people say affirmations during the day when you're wide awake, you're not engaged. You end up fighting. And if you do have anxious tendencies, obsessive tendencies, OCD, then this is not a recommended technique for you. And we have to be mindful of other people's mental health conditions during this as well, because everyone's getting affirmations rammed down their throat and no one's considering those of us that might suffer with anxiety. And I know, as someone who suffered with debilitating anxiety and depression, it would have destroyed me if I did, and that's why I never used them. What other things can we pick up from this story? Did you guys notice anything else about this story that helped, that you can apply? I'm just sort of looking, because obviously it's not someone I know or have never met, so I'm only picking up from this story, from what she's shared. But you see her strong desire to change, and I always say that to my clients, and I know, especially, I always put an intention of who's getting success. I know who's getting success. I know you're all getting success. My strong intentions are that, and that's why I have such high successes. But I know, especially with some people that I meet, I have more stronger feelings for some than others, because I know what mindset they're occupying. And that is the perfect mindset, the mindset of change. If you're coming in with an intention to change yourself, you will achieve success. If you're coming in with an intention to change the outside and change your SP, doesn't mean you're not going to get success, but could potentially cause resistance for you. So keep that in mind, because you're always changing self. That's the only thing you can control. And actually, it gives you a bit of relief, doesn't it? To know that, okay, I can go within and I can change self. I can control that. Whereas if I'm looking on the outside world, I do tend to feel quite overwhelmed about it, because it's like, how the hell am I going to change this? How is this going to change? How am I going to change their mind? How am I going to do this? It's not about that. And when you change yourself deep enough at the core level, through your imaginal acts, or if you're going to therapy, if you're having, if you're going through like hypnosis, like I say, modalities of therapy, let's go deeper. Whatever you do, ensure it goes deeper. Journaling from the future as though it's the now, for example. Reprogramming yourself in this array of ways, and you only need to choose maybe 1 or 2 techniques to help you. The technique is the tool. The technique has no power. It's only the tool to help you to shift your state. If you do that at a deep enough level, the changes are longer term, which means that when your SP comes back, you keep them, because you'll be surprised. A lot of you actually have no problem in manifesting your SP. You do have a problem in being able to reveal the ideal side to them, though, because you're unable to make longer term changes within yourself. So always ensure that your changes are long term. That's why focus in on you, okay? You guys deserve it. I hope that this was inspiring and helpful. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you in the next video. Take care.